Okay, just one last reminder before we officially call the hearing to order. If you wish to testify, as the note says here in the chat, please type your name in, and we will get started here in a second. Okay. All right, looks like we have everything up and running. So, good evening, everyone. We're calling to order our hearing this evening for docket number 2020-0182, Hawaiian Electric's amended application for approval to commit funds in excess of $2 million for its Kalaniʻākoi substation project. My name is Jay Griffin. I'm the chair of the Hawaii PUC. Sorry, that's my dog behind me speaking up. Joined here tonight by Commissioner Jennifer Potter. Commissioner Asuncion is unable to be with us this evening, but he will be reviewing the recording and transcript. So tonight's hearing is being recorded and will later be transcribed by a court reporter. A copy of the recording will also be available on the Commission's YouTube channel. Again, just to reiterate, if you wish to testify, please type into the chat. We'll put you in the queue. State law requires that the Commission hold a public hearing whenever a public utility proposes to construct a new 46 kilovolt transmission line above the surface of the ground and through any residential area. This evening, the Commission will be holding a hearing, docket number 2020-0182. Purpose of the hearing is for the Commission to take testimony, not to answer questions about the amended application. Testifiers can always contact both Hawaiian Electric and the Consumer Advocate if you have questions for them. You can find their information on their website, and hopefully we can type that into the chat as well to have up there. Hawaiian Electric's requests are described in detail in its amended application filed on May 28, 2021. In summary, Hawaiian Electric is requesting, among other things, Commission approval to construct 46 kilovolt transmission lines above and below the surface of the ground in connection with its Kalaniʻākoi substation project. Some of these proposed 46 kilovolt transmission lines will be placed near or through residential development of opilli. Scope of the public hearing. The scope of the hearing tonight is limited to Hawaiian Electric's requests for Commission approval to construct the proposed transmission lines. The ground rules for testifying. We first give the applicant 8 minutes to discuss their application, then provide the Consumer Advocate 8 minutes, and all other testifiers will have 5 minutes. Again, if you wish to testify here, please type your name into the chat. You can always submit comments to the Commission in writing or by email. Please reference the docket number 2020-0182, and you can email comments to puc.comments@hawaii.gov. And with that, we'll get started. If you testify this evening, actually for members of the public, if you testify, identify yourself, state whether you're testifying on behalf of an organization or individual, state whether you support or oppose the applicant's requests. And with that, we'll start with Hawaiian Electric. I believe we have Mr. Tamayo speaking on behalf of Hawaiian Electric. I think you're still, do we need to unmute him? There we go. Thank you. Please go ahead. You have 8 minutes. Thanks.
Sure. Good evening, Chairman Griffin, Commissioner Potter, Commissioner Asuncion, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rudy Tamayo, and I am the Vice President of Energy Delivery for the Hawaiian Electric Company. In this docket, Hawaiian Electric is requesting a Commission determination that the proposed overhead 46 kilovolt OKV line extension be constructed above and below the surface of the ground pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statute Section 269-27. The need for the project. The overhead line extensions are necessary to interconnect Hawaiian Electric system to the Kalaniʻākoi substation project. The proposed Kalaniʻākoi substation project will serve new loads and address reliability and safety risks associated with forecasted overload conditions on Hawaiian Electric distribution system from the projected load growth in the Kapolei and Ho'opili area of Oahu. The estimated capital cost for the project is $18 million. Now I would like to turn it over to our project manager, Sean Butler, to go over the project description.
Hi, thank you, Rudy. Let me go ahead and share my screen here for the exhibits. Can you guys see that okay? Great.
Yeah, we can see it. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'll be using 3 exhibits to describe the proposed 46 kV line work. Please note that the background Google image may not reflect the current homes and streets that have been completed to date. This map shows the project site and the proposed 46 kV overhead line extensions within the new Ho'opili subdivision development and along portions of Farrington Highway located in the East Kapolei area. The existing pole locations are shown in yellow and the new pole locations are shown in red. The overhead electrical work will consist of the replacement of 5 existing wood poles at Ebenui substation and the installation of 63 new self-supporting steel poles along the proposed routes to support the 46 kV conductors. Proposed 46 kV line will begin at our Ebenui substation and then continue west along the Mackay side of Farrington Highway towards Kuala Ka'i. Then the 46 kV lines will continue west along Farrington Highway and will veer south into the Ho'opili subdivision development at proposed pole 58X, and then continue south along future Kaulua Koko Street. Sorry. Okay. The proposed 46 kV line will then continue south and eventually run along the future Kamole Honua Street. Here you'll see the proposed 46 kV line continuing south. Continuing south along Kamole Honua Street, and then a second proposed 46 kV line coming from Kuala Ka'i Parkway and heading southeast into the Ho'opili subdivision development along various streets. The 2 proposed 46 kV lines will then run underground towards the proposed Kulani Hakoi substation along Kaulua Koko and Kulani Hakoi streets. So Exhibit 2 shows street view renderings of portions of the 46 kV line extension throughout the Ho'opili subdivision development. Please note that the photos may not reflect the current condition within the Ho'opili subdivision development and that the proposed conductors and poles may be exaggerated in size to clearly identify the proposed work in the exhibits. Also, the new conductors are proposed to be installed above the streetlights to maintain vertical clearances and per applicable electrical and safety codes. For rendering 1, this view is from the future of Pua'a Street looking north towards a rail guideway with the proposed 46 kV lines located and running along the west side of future Kamole Honua Street. Rendering 2, this view is from Pua'a Street looking south and the proposed 46 kV lines continuing along the west side of Kamole Honua Street. This view is from Ho'omohala Avenue looking south and the proposed 46 kV lines continue along the west side of Kamole Honua Street. And this view is between Onohi'ula and Ho'okulai'a streets looking north and the proposed 46 kV lines continuing along the west side of Kamole Honua Street. Rendering 5. This view is from Kamole Honua Street looking south towards Kulani Hakoi Street and the proposed 46 kV lines continuing along the west side of the street and then veering west along Kulani Hakoi Street towards the proposed substation. This view is from Kulani Hakoi Street looking west towards Kuala Ka'i Parkway and the proposed 46 kV lines located and running along the north side of the street towards the proposed substation. This view is from the intersection of Kulani Hakoi and Kaulua Koko streets looking north and the proposed 46 kV lines along the west side of Kaulua Koko Street. The cables will then run underground into the proposed Kulani Hakoi substation from pole P14-50Y1. This view is from Onohi'ula Street looking west and the proposed 46 kV lines along the south side of the street. This view is from Nana Hope Street looking south and the proposed 46 kV lines along the west side of the street. And this view is from the intersection of Ho'omohala Avenue and Nana Hope Street looking west and the proposed 46 kV lines coming in from Kualakai Parkway and then veering south onto Nana Hope Street. Exhibit 3 is a drawing of the new pole configurations that will be used for the 46 kV overhead line extension. Hawaiian Electric plans to commence construction of the project in December 2021 and be complete by November 2022. And Rudy, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Sean. In closing, should the members of the public have any questions regarding this project, please email them to regulatory@hawaiianelectric.com. That's regulatory@hawaiianelectric.com. I would like to thank the commission for this opportunity to describe our proposed projects. This now concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Tamayo. Thank you, Mr. Butler. Mr. Nishina.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Chair Griffin, Commissioner Potter, and members of the public. My name is Dean Nishina. I'm the Executive Director for the Division of Consumer Advocacy in the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. Our office is also known as the Consumer Advocate. The Consumer Advocate represents the interests of consumers in public utility matters before the Commission by advocating for reliable utility services at reasonable customer costs. I am here this evening to listen to the community's comments regarding Hawaiian Electric Company's, who I will refer to as either the company or HECO, their request to construct 46 kilovolt or kV transmission lines above and below ground as described by Mr. Tamayo. The proposed construction of the transmission lines is part of the overall project, but the hearing tonight is on the proposed construction and placement of those transmission lines. The Consumer Advocate has performed an independent analysis of HECO's request for commission approval of the placement of this transmission line, but tonight we encourage the public to express your comments and opinions to the commission regarding HECO's proposal to construct the 46 kV transmission lines associated with the Kulani Hakoi substation project. This will assist both the Consumer Advocate and the commission in our work. If you do not wish to speak tonight, we encourage you to submit your comments in writing to the commission or our office so that your comments can be made part of the record. As suggested by Chair earlier, I typed in our mailing address in the chat box, but just for everybody so that who are maybe listening but can't see the chat if you're on the phone, our mailing address is P.O. Box 541, Honolulu, Hawaii 96809. And if you'd like to submit comments by email to our office, our email address is dca@dcca.hawaii.gov. With that, I thank you for the opportunity to offer these comments, and I look forward to hearing the public's comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nishina. I think as we said in the chat, you'll find the various different places you can send comments into, including the Consumer Advocate. With that, we haven't received any requests in the chat. Anyone here in the WebEx tonight wishing to speak, either type in the chat or just turn on your video or unmute. Hearing none yet. We have two people calling in. Can we check in on our phone participants to see if either, okay, both of you are unmuted. So if either of you on the phone wish to testify this evening, should be able to speak up. Okay, hearing none. I'm going to do one last call. Checking Anyone wishing to testify? Okay, not seeing or hearing anyone raising their hands. With that, following the conclusion of our public hearing tonight, the Commission, the Consumer Advocate, will continue with our review of the request. Process will conclude with the Commission issuing a written decision. That concludes our public hearing this evening. Thanks everyone for your time and participation. Please go home, be with your families, be well, have a good evening. Thanks again.
Thank you.